Breaking news today, the press release, stuttered for a second, a press release was put out today by the Department of Justice. The FBI has entered into an investigation which has been going on for some time of various SBC abuse cases. And Swibit's professor, or Southwestern Theological Seminary professor Matt Queen, was charged today with criminal obstruction. This is a significant charge. The investigation has been going on since 2022. Of course, some may already be aware that Dr. Queen, who is a longtime professor at Southwestern and was provost for a period of time before he left, is now pastor back at a church that he had been involved in some years back and in North Carolina. So he's now back there. But just wanted to bring you up to date on this and several other things that are happening related to this case. So let me just give you a couple of highlights from that press release. I'm not going to try to read it all to you. It's fairly lengthy, but it is linked down in the description, so you can look at it and read it online if you would like to. But first off, the press release is just titled "Former Professor Charged with Obstructing Justice by Falsifying Records." The heading at the top of it simply says this: U.S. Attorney said, as alleged, Matthew Queen attempted to interfere with the federal grand jury investigation by creating false notes in an attempt to collaborate his own lies. The criminal obstruction charge announced today should exemplify the seriousness of attempts by any individual to manipulate or interfere with a federal investigation. It goes on to say, FBI Assistant Director in Charge James Smith said Matthew Queen, an interim provost, allegedly failed to inform the FBI of a conspiracy to destroy evidence related to the ongoing investigation of abuse or misconduct, and instead produced falsified notes to investigators. Queen's alleged actions deliberately violated a court order and delayed justice for the abuse victims. The FBI will never tolerate those who intentionally lie and mislead our investigation in an attempt to conceal their malicious behavior. It goes on to say later, in June of 2023, Matthew Queen provided the U.S. Attorney's Office with a copy of his notes. On June 20, 2023, Queen met again with the U.S. Attorney's Office and the FBI in New York and produced the original notebook containing his notes. During his second interview, Queen initially falsely stated that he had written the notes contemporaneously with the January 26, 23 meeting. But then, during the same meeting, Queen falsely stated that he instead had written the notes months later in April 2023. In truth and in fact, Queen had written the notes following his initial May 2023 interview with the U.S. Attorney's Office and the FBI. A final paragraph says, Queen, 49, of Greensboro, North Carolina, is charged with one count of falsification of records, which carries a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. The maximum potential sentence in this case is prescribed by Congress and is provided here for informational purposes only. As you can see, these are pretty serious charges without any doubt. The one who really broke this across the board right now is SBC litigation on the platform of X. And just to give you a little bit of an idea, they've got a long thread that they have been trying to dissect this press release and other information that has been gathered from what's happening now at Southwestern Seminary and has happened in the past related to this particular abuse case. But let's look real quickly at just one of the tweets that was put up. It says DOJ alleges that Queen worked with employee number 2, and there were several employees identified, a member of the seminary's executive staff, to provide false testimony to FBI. High likelihood that someone else is going to be charged. there's no question that if there is another high-level employee that is involved in this, this is very serious. Not that it wouldn't be just to have the one individual, this professor, Dr. Matt Queen, who's been charged now allegedly with this crime. But now apparently there are some others. So very likely there will be others that will be eventually indicted and charged with some type of charges related to this case, if not a broader case involving who knows what other allegations that may have been made at Southwest. Some of these things, we can't keep you updated with everything, but we have linked these items below in the video description so you can follow SPC litigation or look at the press release yourself. So we'll keep you up to date as best we can.